Welcome to another video on the nuclear tech mod. This time I wanted to go over one of the actual reactors. It's the RBMK reactor, which was the one in Chernobyl. And yes, they can explode, but and many times when I've tried to make them, they have exploded. But I have found some designs that do work, and I want to show some of them. But first, I did mention this has semi-realistic processing of, radioactive materials. So, let's say you want to get, I've had this running in the background for a while, you want to get uranium-235. Now, why would you do that? Because uranium-235 is what we call, fissile. Fissile means it can be split through neutrons, and it's used in chain reactions. It can become chain reactions. It's what originally was used in Little Boy. In fact, you can see there that's like this was fired into that through a conventional explosion, which made it super critical and caused a fission chain reaction, releasing an insane amount of energy. So how do you do that? Well, you first take uranium hexafluoride. What it is it's 1 uranium and I believe 6 fluoride atoms, or hydrogen fluoride molecules, I believe. As you can see, it's made through water, fluorite, yellow cake, and yellow cake is made through hydrogen peroxide, sulfur, and uranium billet. But that's neither here nor there. That's in here. So what happens here is this gets centrifuged into, so natural UF6 becomes uranium-238 and low-enriched UF6. The low-enriched UF6 becomes fluorite and uranium-238, but becomes medium-enriched UF6. Then that becomes uranium-238 and highly enriched UF6. Excuse me, meteorite, do not interrupt my recording. And then the highly enriched UF6 becomes U-235 and fluorite, I believe. Yes. So you get, you get uranium and fluoride and uranium and more fluoride. Now, over here is the RBMK reactor. Although I should probably get a control panel for it now that I think about it. That sounds like a smart plan, doesn't it? And also, if you want to be safe when operating it, I recommend using uranium zinc hydride. What it does is it has a negative coefficient in terms of essentially reactivity and temperature. So essentially, imagine it like this. So the higher the temperature goes, the lower the reactivity goes, which means that it's almost impossible for it to melt down, because whenever it gets too hot, it stops splitting. It essentially just doesn't react anymore to neutrons, which is good. I believe Veritasium has a good video on that. You should check it out. And so this RBMK is cooled in a very unusual way, and I don't think any RBMK in history was cooled this way, but I could be wrong. Oh my goodness, I don't think any RBMK has ever been, done like that. I'm pretty sure so this one, instead of using water to make steam, we're actually cooling it through perfluoromethyl. I don't know how to pronounce it. And so what it does is it cools everything down at the cost of making the liquid hotter, and then we just compress it to make it cooler, and these things are compressing very fast, so it never ever runs out of whatever. And next what we're going to do is we're going to start putting in our stuff. Now we need a self-igniting, neutron source. It is self-igniting, so we just put it in there. And then just put this in the field channel. Now if Now I'm going to use... Well, we'll have one for xenon, and so this is all the fuel we're going to be measuring. So as you can see, we have no xenon poisoning, and xenon poisoning decreases reactivity. If I'm right, we have the core which is 20 degrees Celsius, which means the core of these fuels, the average of it is just 20 degrees Celsius. Now, this is because we haven't raised the control rods. Now, I'll tell you what each thing does. So these control rods, so these things, they emit they emit fast-moving neutrons, but they split with slow-moving neutrons, which means they cannot ignite themselves. This one can, but we don't really care about it. So what these control rods do is they essentially stop this little chain. This chain means the fast-moving neutrons go into here. They become slow-moving neutrons. Then they get reflected back into the fuel. This means you only need to raise these control rods once to start off the chain reaction. And as long as these are raised, that cycle can continue. But whenever these close, they now cannot continue that cycle because there's no moderator and it's not reflecting towards itself. These coolers, they just cool everything. We don't need to worry about them. And so these ones are the ignition control rods. And the entire reactor cannot, well, you can start these sections of the reactors. And so what we're going to do is we're going to raise each of these, let's say, to 75. Now, these are getting xenon poisoned, which is not ideal. Oh, that's a lot of xenon poisoning. But it's getting burnt off as it gets hotter. And eventually, the fuel will start heating up these, and then these will cool everything down. It'll eventually reach an equilibrium, and actually, this is pretty good. It has a zero xenon poisoning, and that's really good. You want it to be zero. And these reactors, in this case, are meant to be breeder reactors. They're supposed to breed things, like they're supposed to make new fuels. Also, do not use this unless you want to destroy your RBMK. Yes, it is self-combusting. It has crustiness, lead poisoning, arrives from hyperbolic non-Euclidean shapes and departs to elliptic non-Euclidean shapes. It has a doom function. Function specification, dangerous quadratic. Lead creation functioning, x times 0.5. Lead destruction function, x squared divided by 50. Flow, skin entropy, core entropy, crash test, 10,000 meters. Radioactive, Youch and Digma radiation, which is, and as you can see, perfect description. That's my favorite description, actually. Yeah, I have no clue. And yeah. You can deplete them, but, and this is intentional, by the way. This is supposed to be the missing texture. And as you can see, everything's gotten to a steady, stable temperature, and now it's just depleting. So let's monitor fuel depletion average. And as you can see, the average depletion it's going up, and there's so many fuels you can use for this. Some are good, some are bad, some will kill you, some won't. I mean, they'll all kill you if you abuse them, but some will kill you less. Like there's thorium, there's plutonium, and also you're sure to stick to things that say like medium. You don't want dangerous things. Low enriched Australia. Is this a TF2 reference? Because I feel like this. Huh? That's a TF2 reference, alright. That's a TF2 reference. Look up Australium if you don't get this. But, alright. Anyway, so as you can see, this is pretty chill. It's not overheating, it's just chill. You know, we could just... And also, it's not emitting toxic gas, which is why you need these covers. Because this is how it normally looks, but this is bad. You want a cover on there, and that's what these, like, tiled things are. And as you can see, these things are slightly heating up, but they're also being cooled down because of our cooling system here. And it's like this is like most RBMKs were designed to, well, some RBMKs were designed as breeder reactors, some were power. This is definitely a pure breeder reactor, as this is not generating any power. It's actually using power because of this. And like all reactors use power to some extent, but they don't normally consume power to cool the reactor down. Normally they cool the reactor down to create power. Also, there's the scram button, and you can actually just click on that. How to RBMK, and it's my first RBMK. And also, if we just look, melting, avoid. Oh my goodness, it's bad if the reactor melts? I could never tell you. Man, I couldn't tell you that. Now, I bet most of you are curious about this and what the meltdown looks like. So I'm going to show you two meltdowns. Yes, it is vibrating in my hand. You should fear it. And you make it with this. What is this thing? What? Now, what happens when I drop this thing? Let's find out. Oh, hey, a village. You all are going to have a fun time. It says a dangerous drop. How dangerous can it be? Oh. Let's get rid of this, though. Oh, lovely. So, now, I'm not going to start with showing you this one. That's a special treat. I also like the way the uranium, zirconium hydride looks like. Oh, that's cool. I think it looks really cool. I like the blueness. So, yeah, let's just use this. And then let's just use this. So now let's use the self-igniting dangerous one. So now, how to make RBMK reactor melt down fastest. Now what you want is many of these. These will reflect all the neutrons back in on itself. Exactly what you wouldn't want if you were a coward. And as you can see, the heat is kind of increasing at a substantial rate, and soon it's going to melt down. As you can see, this is really not ideal. And you'll see, continuing this results in a little issue most professionals like to call, you know what, let's just... So doing this will result in a issue that most professionals like to call your reactor might experience some a critical malfunction called exploding into a million pieces. So yeah, as you can see, our reactor seemed to have encountered a critical error called being on fire and polluting the environment. And as you can see, you can get stuff like broken metal bars and RBMK fuel chunks. And oh, we didn't get any graphite chunks because we don't have graphite members. No, sometimes you could get. Sometimes you'll get these broken... sometimes you'll get these graphite chunks because, you know, like, the reactor moderators blew up. Also, these things do work as nuclear bombs. I will not show you that one because it's near here, but, yeah. And so let's check up on the reactor, which I just completely left unsupervised, which is something you should never do. Yeah, it's chill. And, oh wow, these are actually pretty, I mean, they're somewhat depleted. Now, it's now at the end of the video. So now, you all get to see what happens when we melt down a Digma reactor. But I don't want to just, you know, I could just put in, you know, one fuel rod, and that would be enough. But I think that would be boring. Yeah, you should run villagers. So what if we put in 16 Digma fuel rods? Oh. Well, 4 will be enough. Oh, and also look at this. It's a pointy stick that says something that I can't read. Yes. Hey, at least there's a cool stick. I was in creative mode. That killed me in creative. Let's go into the achievements and see what nuclear check mod. Go fish. Nautical crucifix. What? Oh, we're right. Potatoes. What? Now, I actually know how to get this achievement, and I'm going to show you. Wait, is that not? That should be how you get the achievement. Oh yes, that. You have to pick one up before doing this. And then... There we go. Yup. Anyway, that is the RBMK and what you should not do with the RBMK. Anyway, bye.